sabbatical. Nah, I'm strategic, reading the white papers, stacking the blue chips, avoiding the vapors. Solid foundation, spreading the allocation. This ain't a lottery, it's wealth creation. Building it strong, watch the portfolio climb. Manage the risk, play the game of time. Rebalance the stack, keep the vision in line. From the red to the green, we gon' shine. Fear and the greed, see the market psychology. I stay disciplined, follow my own policy. Take a little profit when the greed is high. Buy in the dip when you see him cry. It's a cycle, a rhythm, a digital art. Playing it smart, right from the start. Building it strong, watch the portfolio climb. Yeah, manage the risk, play the game of time. Rebalance the stack, keep the vision in line. From the red to the green, we gon' shine. Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Build strong, stay patient, win the right way. Diamond hands, legacy plans, that's the motto.
It's about the long end, you feel me? Play smart. Ooh.
Charts looking wild, a roller coaster ride. Fools getting panic, trying to run and hide. They all in, all out, chasing after peaks. I stay cool, man, I'm playing for the weeks and weeks. Got a system, a method. Ain't no need to guess. Stacking up my success, relieving all the stress. Dollar cost average, that's the motion. Steady buying deep as the ocean. Don't chase the highs, don't fear the low dip. Just keep on stacking, that's the crypto tip. FOMO hitting hard when the green candles spike, but I stick to the plan every day and night. Tuesday.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Today I want us to talk about APR versus APY. What is it? Why you should try to understand the difference between these two important methods of investing in crypto. All right, because most often than not, we don't understand what we are subscribing to. All right, we go to DEX and we see APY. We go to SEX, then we see APR. All right, so today I want us to learn the difference between APR and APY in crypto, so that when you are committing your crypto to any type of investment, you understand whether it's the right decision or the right thing to do by subscribing to APR, or is the wrong thing to do, or is the right thing to do subscribing to APY, or is the wrong thing to do. All right, the session will start very soon. Please make sure that you share it with your friends, because there'll be a lot to learn from this very presentation. At the end of it, or you understand that it's very important to probably invest your crypto in APY. Especially in a market like this where we don't know the direction, whether we are heading towards the bear market or bull market. We want to commit your crypto. You want to invest your crypto in something, all right? So if you really want to do that, then you have to stay tuned. And even as I take the time to break down the difference between APR and APY in crypto, all right? So guys, stay tuned. I'll be right back. I'm putting things together, so don't go away. All right, see you very soon.
Yo, check the charts. It's more than just a game. It's about the long run. Let's build. Started with a vision, a little bit of capital. Not chasing every pump, that's sabbatical. Nah, I'm strategic, reading the white papers. Stacking the blue chips, avoiding the vapors. Solid foundation, spreading the allocation. This ain't a lottery, it's wealth creation. Building it strong, watch the portfolio climb. Manage the risk, play the game of time. Rebalance the stack, keep the vision in line. From the red to the green, we gon' shine. Fear and greed, see the market psychology. I stay disciplined, follow my own policy. Take a little profit when the greed is high. Buy in the dip when you see him cry. It's a cycle, a rhythm, a digital art. Playing it smart, right from the start. Building it strong, watch the portfolio climb. Yeah, manage the risk, play the game of time. Rebalance the stack, keep the vision in line. From the red to the green, we gon' shine. Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Build strong, stay patient, win the right way. Diamond hands, legacy plans, that's the motto. Yeah. They see the whips, they see the chains. Think it's a game. Nah, listen up, learn the rules before you play. Yo.
Hi guys, I want to welcome you once again to my first this is not the first, but I think one of our sessions that I believe we'll be having continuously, right? Today I want us to look at APR versus APY in crypto and why it is very important to understand these two methods of investing in crypto. All right. So we have various ways to make money in crypto. We have by trading, by investing, by staking, by different ways to make money in crypto, right? But one of the ways to make money in crypto that we most often than not overlook is to subscribe to, on Binance we call it simple N or on yield locks. All right. There are several ways to make money in crypto and earn APR and APY. So I'll describe, or I'll tell you definitely the difference between APR when it comes to crypto investments and APY when it comes to crypto investments. Right. In natural investments, right, landscape, maybe in the traditional investment landscape, we look at compounding interest, we look at interest. All right, we need to look at interest, and we are talking about interest. We want to understand the different types of interest or different ways that we can make money if we put our money at the bank. All right, let's say if you use a treasury bill, you buy a bond, or you buy whatever, or probably you invest in, let's say, stocks or whatever. All right, we want to understand what type of interest you're going to earn if you put your money in the bank. Yeah, it's the same like crypto. In crypto too, you can keep your money to work. All right, you can pretty much ask your money to work in a certain way, and in doing so you can earn simple interest or you can earn a compounded interest. All right, that's the main reason why I want us to have this session and describe some of the ways, or some of the ways that you can make or you can enhance your interest, all right, in crypto. So let's say you have one BNB and you want to invest one BNB. Maybe you don't know how to trade, don't know how to do all these peps and all that, or invest in Bitcoin, but you want to hold your crypto. All right, you want to put your crypto somewhere and make that crypto work for you. These are some of the ways that you can leverage on to pretty much make most of that BNB or make most of that crypto. So if you have your crypto in spot, then I want to tell you that you are really, really, really missing out on something. There's no reason for keeping your crypto in spot wallet, because you are not making anything. If you have your crypto in spot wallet, then basically you are just having your money sitting there, just like the same as having your money sitting in the bank. When the token appreciates, you make more from it. Okay, you make more in value. All right, when token depreciates or the value goes down, you also kind of lose some in money terms, in value terms. All right, so instead of having your crypto sit down and devalue, all right, why don't you commit it to a system whereby you can make interest or can earn some kind of interest, whether it's simple interest or compounding interest. First of all, I want to let you guys know that this is not a financial advice. This is purely for education purpose only. So please do your own research. Don't see this as a financial advice. or don't listen to me and say that, hey, I just got some financial advice from this guy. So no, all right, I'm not a financial advisor. This is purely for education and entertainment purpose only. So please do your own research. That being said, let's get to the slide. All right, let's get to the slide. All right, so what is APR and what is APY? All right, so APR simple means annual percentage interest, okay, and APY simply means annual percentage yield. All right, so now we'll talk about the difference pretty soon. First of all, if you're on the live, I want you to share this live with your friends because to really benefit everyone watching this live. Because if you are into crypto, I'm sure you've heard of APY and APR and you've subscribed to any of them, but you don't know how really it works. Okay, so it's very important that you share this live with your friends so that they can also benefit from this knowledge. All right. Okay, so APR refers to simple interest. It does not account for compounding growth in linear or predictable scale. So let's say if you have your crypto or your money or whatever, all right, you put in the bank. Let's say if you have your $1,000 and you want to put that $1,000 in your bank account, all right, or invest in a bank. They will ask you. I mean, you can ask the bank, will this attract a simple interest or a compounding interest? If they say it's a simple interest, which means if the interest is 10% at the end of the year, if you subscribe for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, what an investment plan, whatever being the case, at the end of the year, you should see yourself ending in that percentage wise. So let's say they say 10% a year, right? 10% interest rate a year. It means at the end of the year, you'll be making $1,100 because it's fixed 10%, right? It's a simple interest. It's linear, all right? So for example, like you see on the screen, right? But first of all, I just want to understand, can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see my screen though? Can you see my screen? Hi, and Timothy, how are you? Can you guys see my screen? If you can see my screen, type yes. If you can hear me, or if you can see my screen, let me know in the comment section. Can you see my screen? Type yes in the comment section, please. If you can see my screen, let me know in the comment section, guys. All right. Hi, Dr. Salasi. Good to have you here. All right. So I think we're good, right? Okay, so let's move on. All right, so we will have the simple interest. If you put your money at the bank and the bank tells you that this would attract 10% interest every single year, it simply means every year. Let's say if you have $1,000, you are not going to go home with $1,000. You are going home with $1,100, just like you can see. All right, it's the same with crypto APR, crypto APR. If you are investing and committing your crypto to APR model, it means you earn simple interest and does not account for compounding growth. It's linear, all right? It's predictable. You put in this and they tell you 10%, you earn 10%. So if you check Binance, how do you call it? Binance Simple Earn, it will tell you 1.5 APR, 2.3 APR, 3, whatever APR you see there. It simply means that that's exactly the amount you're going to make at the end of that period of investment. You get it, right? So as you can see on the slide, right? Example, someone invested $1,000 with 10% interest, right? And at the end of the period, the person goes home with 1,100. All right. Now let's look at APR. APY. APR is annual percentage yield. It's quite different, all right? It refers to the compound interest. It includes the effect and reinvesting interest, all right? That's the growth. That's what we call growth accelerator, right? So, for example, let's use the traditional bank as an example. I told you with the APR, it's simple interest. You put there and they tell you that 10% or 1%, exactly the year, annually you earn that 10% or 1%. You don't get any cumulative or compounding interest. With the APY, it's quite different, right? For that one, your money reinvests itself every single day, all right? So, which means the interest compounds, okay? So, if they say that you're going to earn 10% interest, all right, or compounding interest on your savings or whatever, it means the money that you'll be making will be compounded. All right. So if you see the slide, if you check the slide, if you check the slide, instead of earning just $1,000, all right, or $1,100 as 10% annually, you'll be making $1,105.16 because the interest compounded. All right. Every single day, the profit that you are making is reinvested. All right. So if you put your money at the bank, all right, on crypto or whatever, and you subscribe to APR, which is simple interest, it means at the end of the year, if it is annual APR, at the end of the month, the money doesn't compound. The money doesn't work for itself. The money is strictly on the interest that you want to get. So $1,000, you get $100 interest. That's all. But APY, the money that you make reinvest, recommits itself. Okay, so, which means that you are not going to go home at the end of the year with $1,100. You are going to go home with more than that. All right. So you see the difference between APR and APY. One is simple interest, that the APR. The other is compounding interest, that is APY. You get the difference, right? So now, as you can see, it's clearly demonstrated in my slide. All right. So it's very, very important to understand these two so that you can make very informed decision whether you want a compounding effect or a simple interest effect. And I mean, I personally would go for a compounding effect, because if, let's say, I have $5,000 in BNB on my Binance earn or wherever I store my crypto, and if I subscribe to APR, the APR gives me exactly what it promises to give. Let's say at the end of the year, it promises 10% or 2%, I get 2%. But your APY, I get more, because the interest that I make reinvest or recommits itself. So I make more. All right. So now let's focus a little bit more on the APR, that's the annual percentage rate. All right. It says simple interest earnings are calculated only on the principal amount. The principal amount means the money that you invested or the money that you committed. You get the point, right? With a simple with the APR, the annual percentage rates, okay, the earnings are calculated on the simple amount, sorry, on the principal amount. The amount you put in there is fixed. It's calculated on that, and that is it. All right. There's no compound interest. There's no linear. It's just a linear growth. We say something is linear growth. You see, it's straight. You see the chart. It goes up and up and up and up. All right. That is compound interest. So the math is, if you put $1,000 at 10% APR, okay, that's annually. After the year, you'll be making $1,100. You guys get the point. If you commit $1,000 in APR, let's say BNB, right? Okay, let's say BNB, right? You commit one BNB in an APR model. Okay, sorry, an APR model. At the end of the year, you're getting 1.1 BNB, right? Because it's APR, it's linear, right? It's straightforward. You wouldn't be making more than you are promised. Okay, no compounding effect. All right. Now let's look at where APR appears in crypto. Most often than not, you can find APR in centralized exchange or CEX. You can find it on Binance, you can find it in any other exchange, because APR basically is predictable. Okay, so it's strict. There's no compound effect. You can find this on centralized exchange, lending platforms, fee staking platforms, and custodian products. All right. So on a centralized exchange, you earn programs on major exchange like Binance, Coinbase. They typically quote APR. So if you use the Binance simple earn or locked in or whatever, if you go to Binance and you see that everything there is quoted as APR. No interest. Sorry, no compound interest, just a simple interest. All right. If you look at some of the lending platforms too, you see that rate does not, I mean, supply instead of because how do you call it? It's basically a borrowing asset and lending assets. Okay, they make sure there's predictability. Okay, so they also, most often than not all of them, most often than not, you use this same APR model. All right, and also some of the custodian product, they use that. Okay, manage vaults where a provider handles the strategy. They often take a cut and pass a fiat, all right, non-compounding rate to you. So if you're using a custodian product and you say, I'm going to commit my one BNB or $1,000, okay, they take it. It's a custodian platform, so they promise you that at the end of the year you're going to make 10% of your money. You give it to them, they work with it, and then they give you back your money plus 10%. Okay, so these are some of the ways, these are some of the places that you can find the APR. Okay, these are some of the common places that you can find the APR, and very, very important to take note of that. All right, so critical characteristics of APR is manual action is required. Because this pays simple interest APR, you must manually claim and restake your rewards to achieve compounding effect. Okay, so for example, if you have your money on Binance Earn, right, and then let's say you commit one BNB in Binance Earn and you make about 10% APR, because it's manual, you have to recommit. At the end of the year, it is done. You have to recommit again, okay, to have that compounding effect. So let's say if every year, let's say every month, if let's say it's APR, it's 10% APR, which means annual payment, but then they mostly pay yearly. For example, on Binance, they pay yearly APR. Okay, so what you can do is you have to manually recommit to that to enjoy this kind of compounding effect. It's not automatic. All right, it's not automatic. You have to recommit yourself, or you commit to your money that you made, okay, manually, before you can enjoy some kind of a compounding effect. Okay, it's really manual, which doesn't mean you can't. The fact that you are subscribed to an APR model doesn't mean you won't or you can't enjoy compound. You can't enjoy compounding, but you have to recommit yourself. All right, you get it. All right, so let's go to APY, or average percentage yield. All right, APR includes compounding. That is, earnings are automatically reinvested into the principal. All right, so let's say you put $1,000 and then you are subscribed to 1 year APR. Okay, so APY, that money you're making every day, that profit you're making will be reinvested. Will be reinvested. We reinvested daily. All right, whatever you make each day, that is geared towards your annual percentage yields are recommitted to the market, or recommitted to your principal. Okay, so your principal keeps growing day by day, day by day. Therefore, your profit also, or your expected yields also increases. Okay, and this is automatic. All right, you don't have to do anything. It's automatically, it recommits by itself. All right, so interest on interest, that's basically an interest on interest. Your profit generates its own profit, creating a cycle of growth. All right, unlike the APR, where, how do you call it, unlike the APR where you have to commit it, and every time you commit and all that, to have some kind of a compounding effect, not fully, but some kind of it. APY is different. All right, you don't have to do anything. When you subscribe to APY, your interest also earns interest. Okay, because your interest is committed to the principal to make it bigger than it used to be, and then you make more money out of it or from it. All right, I hope I'm making sense. All right. Okay, so let's look at some of the places where, I mean, you can see the math, right? 1,000 at 10% rate, compound yield will give you 1,105 after 1 year. All right, for APR, it will just give you 1,100, but for the APY is going to give you 1,105 because your interest also earned interest. You get the point, right? Okay, so let's look at this visualization. Look at the visualization, the difference between APR and APY. You see that the APR, the compounding effect, I mean, the outcome is linear, all right? It's very linear. So let's say you commit $15,000, all right? All right. Sorry, you commit $10,000, all right? With the $10,000 over the 5 years, you see how it grows. You see, check the first year $10,000, second year $11,000, second year $12,000, third year $13,000, fourth year $14,000, and the fifth year $15,000. So you see the gap, right? You see the gap, right? It's linear. I mean, there's no compound effect. They promise you 10% and you keep earning 10%. All right. So if it is one BNB, you'll be making BNB every year. I mean, if 10%, it's strictly 10%. That's the simple interest. All right. But if you check the APY, you see the growth, right? It's not straightforward. It's not linear. All right. You see some kind of a curve, right? You see here, instead of the 0.52, you make extra $52 on it. All right. And the $52 is recommitted to your principal, and then you make extra 214. All right. You see the second month is 12,000. Sorry, the second year for APR is 12,000, but for the second of the APY is 12,204. $214 extra. Can you imagine? All right, $214 extra. All right. You can see, right? See, for the first year, 11,000 for APR, no compounding effect. For the first year for the APY is 11,052. For the second year of the APR is 12,000, right? For the second year of the APY is 12,214. All right. So you see, APR is just linear. If it's 10%, that's what you get. But for the APY, it increases because your profit that you earn on the principal is recommitted to the principal or recommitted to your investment, and it keeps compounding and growing. All right. So you earn interest on interest and interest on your principal. All right. So by the end of the 5-year investment period, you'll be sitting on $16,453. But with APR, you just have about $15,000. That's all. Okay. All right. So where can we find APY APY in crypto. What are some of the ways that you can find APY? You can find them in yield fund, right? Staking liquidity pool tokens for governance token, right? You can find them mostly on decentralized platform, right? Like yield farming, liquidity pools, auto compounding vaults, and DeFi protocols, right? There's some of the places that you can find APY investment, all right? So there's a compounding cycle, basically compounding cycle, right? Auto compounding, it's auto invest, auto growth, and all that. So if you really, really want to look at APY, you can find them on DEX like Binance Wallet. You can find them on Binance Wallet. All right. If you want to stick with APR, you can find it on the Binance platform itself. If you want to look into APY, you'd find them mostly on Binance Wallet or decentralized wallets. You get the point, right? Okay, so let's look at real world comparison. All right, let's look at some of the real world comparison. Let's say product USDC savings lending. All right, and on centralized exchange. All right, 8% APR versus 12% APY. Okay, so product like USD saving. Okay, for them you get 8% APR. Risk is negligible with stable coin because you invest in stable coin, and implement losses non-compounding, manual, simple interest, and custodian platform. Like I mean, you have committed to a platform. The platform is taking care of your crypto. All right. So if you're looking at platform B, that is DeFi. All right. Let's assume ETH or USD liquidity pool. You can get 12% APY. All right. There's higher ETH exposure. Okay. There's also risk. Okay. And auto compounding involved, which means every profit you make is recommitted and you make more. So you are likely to make more money using APY than APR. All right. It's very, very simple. And it's not only in crypto, it's just basically anywhere. All right. So let's look at how to do your own diligence and how to evaluate yield properly. All right. Ask yourself, does it auto compound? All right. If I want to subscribe to any yield, does it auto compound? Manual claiming incurs gas fees. All right. Auto compounding bot is minimize or maximize APY efficiency. So if you want to subscribe to any platform that gives APY, you have to know that it's not manual, it's fully automatic. It will recommit itself so that you don't have to be paying gas fee. Because if you the moment you tap on recommit or engage in any activities on the decentralized platform, you incur gas fees. All right. So make sure that they are fully automated so that we don't have to be paying gas fee every now and then. It's very important. Okay. And also, how often? I mean, how often do they pay? Do they pay daily or monthly or weekly? Right? That's daily versus weekly compounding creates a significant difference in annual returns. You know, for example, even if you are using a centralized exchange for APR growth like Binance, they pay daily, right? You get daily APR interest, okay, which means every day your money you get interest on your money for 1 year. Just that by the end of the year, it should have accumulated to a certain percentage agreed upon that you subscribed for. All right, that's pretty much incentivized you to subscribe for. All right. So you have to understand whether these yields are daily or monthly or weekly. You just have to understand if it's daily, can it recommit itself? Is monthly, would it recommit itself, or I have to manually recommit it? All right. So you have to look at all these dynamics. Also, is it fixed or variable? Is the rate locked or will be plummet as soon as TVL or total value is locked, okay, or increases? So you have to understand, for example, like the Binance simple earn, right? We have the flexible lock and we have the simple earn or the flexible earn or the locked, okay, earn, which means for the lock, you commit yourself to long term. For the flexible, basically you can recommit. I mean, you can just get out anytime. So you have to understand whether this is variable or is fixed. Okay, if it's fixed, how long? If it's variable, which means anytime you can interact with it. Also, you have to look at the token volatility. Most often than not, the volatile the token is, the higher the APY. All right, earnings 50% is useless. It's useless if the reward token drops 90%. So let's assume you see a meme coin and then you go like, oh, this meme coin is good. They are offering good API, right? You put your money, hard-earned money in this particular meme coin, and the value of that coin drops. Okay, drops drastically. You've lost the value. So even though the APR is big, the money of that token is down. So you can't really see the benefits of holding that particular token. So the token or the project that you're holding really, really matters if you want to subscribe to any type of investment model, all right, whether APR or APY. I remember, let me tell a story, right? There was some time I decided to borrow on Binance using my Binance, my BNB as a collateral, right? At that time, BNB was around $150 ish. So I went to Binance system desk, the Binance loans, okay. Then I used my BNB as a collateral and I took some loans. All right. I think not one BNB, was a couple of BNB. I used them as collateral and took about $1,000 loan. And guess what? By the time I was well ready to get pay back the loan and get my BNB had jumped from 150 to about $400. You get what? So I got a free loan basically, and I also had more value on my money. That is crazy, crazy investment, crazy, crazy loan that I took there. So it's like I literally paid for nothing for the loan. I got free loan and I also got free value for my money. All right. So it's very important that if you really want to subscribe to any investment model, you have to understand the token itself, whether it is extremely volatile or less volatile. Okay. Is very, very important. Also understand the platform. Do you know the platform very well? Is it a trustworthy, trusted wallet or trusted platform or lending platform or whatever platform it is? Is it trusted? Do they have enough liquidity? How long have they been around and all that? What's the testimonials and everything? You have to make sure that the platform is doxed and you can trust this platform before you can subscribe to any of their products, right? Also understand if the liquidity is locked or they are not. Okay, can you withdraw your money instantly or capital lock for a bonding period of time, exactly 21 days. You have to understand all these dynamics. Okay, this will help you do kind of what we call the risk control. All right, so let's look at why all this matters or why this matters more here. All right, because high inflation, many, especially in my country, many African countries as well, the CPI runs double digits. Holding local cash guarantees loss of purchasing power. Like say we hold our currency, it's not certain. You don't know whether tomorrow the value will go up or go down. There's so much unpredictability in the currency, not only in not only in Africa, but all over the world. It seems like the fiat system is losing its value by day. So if you're able to subscribe to platforms or subscribe to product like this, it really helps. Okay, it's really helps. It really helps. It helps you to hedge against currency depreciation, and it's also for the banks and our natural financial system, they offer lower real yields. Okay, I mean, let's look at some things here, right? Local bank savings. If you invest your money in the bank, right, your money would go down by 50% in real value over the period. All right. When you put your money in stable coins, you'll be having 7% more of the value. You get it, because stable coin is basically pegged to a certain valuable currency or commodity. All right. And apart from that, you can hedge it by subscribing to some kind of investment model like API or APY, APY or APR. All right. Therefore, reducing any prospect of depreciation at all. So you, even as the currency itself depreciation, because your value also keeps increasing. Okay. Because you keep getting or making interest on your money, that your value will be increasing. Pretty much can be a hedge or a shield against depreciation, all right, of your local currency or the currency or the money that you're holding. So it's very, very important to look at all this. All right. So now let's look at the centralized versus decentralized platforms. All right. With the centralized platform issue, if you're locking your money in centralized platform, which most often do not offer APR, you should know that there's custodian implications. All right. They hold your money. The exchanges hold your keys. You log in with your email and password. If you lose your asset, this can support you. For example, on Binance, it's a custodian place. Okay, if you don't have to hold your private key, you don't have to worry about losing your private key or yada yada yada. Whenever you forget a password, you can tap on forget a password and you can recreate a new password, or you can write to support. All right, so that is centralized exchange for you. Also, there's lower complexity. I mean, you can just go to, for example, simple and on-chain use on Binance Block, and you can just tap on anything. I mean, the step is so much simple. You can just go there, and as a fresher, you can subscribe to APR, can subscribe to any investment model, and you are good to go. It's very, 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 very easy. Very, 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 very easy. All right. Okay, so fiat gateways is easy to deposit and withdraw your fiat. All right. I mean, easy to buy USDT, maybe use your local currency to convert them to USDT and put on Binance platform or any custodian wallet, and it's very easy to how to call it, rounding off back, okay, to your local currency. Now let's look at decentralized or DeFi platform. It's self-custody. Self-custody means you own your private key. Okay, so if you lose your private key, it's up to you. There's no one can save you. You can't go like, hey, I've lost my private key, so I'm going to reset my password. No, it doesn't happen like that. You are the self-custodian of your wallet. All right, you are totally in charge of wallet. So if you lose it, you've lost it. Okay, so but the good side of DeFi platform is that they offer APY. All right, APY means you can make more on your money. So if you know how to keep your private key, if you know how to keep your wallet safe, then I mean, self custody is always and have always been the best way to do crypto. All right, so you hold your private key, you're absolute owner, you are the absolute owner, but also absolute responsibility. If you forget your private key, if you lose it, you've lost your money, and no one can help you. All right. Also, let's look at higher flexibility. Okay, you access your use farm pools protocol instantly, no KYC, no permission. You know, on the centralized exchange like Binance, you have to do KYC, you have to go through all the steps, you have to verify your address and yada yada yada. With a centralized exchange or centralized or DeFi platform or protocol, it's quite different. I mean, if you find a trusted one, all you have to do is just go there, no KYC, you control, or I mean, pretty much do whatever you have to do. Subscribe to a simple and um, annual percentage use, get good percentage use, and you're done. As long as you can really control your private key and control it very well. All right. Also, there's transparency. All transaction and use are verified on the chain, and that is hidden at the backend database. All right. That's the beauty of having a decentralized. Commit yourself to a decentralized platform, because everything you see the lock liquidity. You're able to verify if they have the money, you have liquidity to pay or whatever, all right, because everything is on chain, so you'll be able to pretty much read and understand if you know how to do it. Okay, and it's quite easy for you to understand how all this is done. All right, so you see the difference. So now, I mean, you've come to the end of the session. I just want to let you know that when you want to invest or commit your money to any type of yield, any type of model, whether annual percentage rate or annual percentage yield, you need to understand the platform, whether this platform is trustworthy, whether you want to go self-custody or you want to go custodian model. I mean, there's so much to know, like I've already discussed. All right, the bottom line is that you have to have clarity first. You need to understand what you are doing before you commit to anything. I mean, clarity first before profit, because it's very, very important. Because the crypto markets rewards those who prepare, not those who panic, and not those who pretty much understand what they are doing. So if you're watching this session, I know you loved it. Make sure that you follow me. Okay, you follow me is very important. And you can also join my community across board. If you're watching from YouTube, I mean, you can join our Telegram group. If you're watching on Binance Square, you can join our Binance Square family. You can follow me on Binance Square as well. All right. So now I would love to take some questions. Do I have any questions? Anyone with any question here that they want me to answer? Any question? If you have any question on on these two models, all right, you can let me know. I'll gladly answer, or I'll gladly help you out. All right. Okay, good. Cryptech, how are you? Okay. All right. Any question? Anyone ask any question? Any question now? If you have any question, you can let me know in the comment section. I will gladly help you. All right. So I just want to leave this with you. Why would you want to subscribe to any of them? Okay. Now the question is, would you go for APY, or you opt for APR? Okay, let me know that. Would you rather opt for average percentage rate or average percentage yield? Let me know, and let me know why you want to go for any of them. Okay, I believe you now understand these two models, and you can confidently now choose which of them to use. Okay, so guys, thank you so much. I mean, thank you so much. If you want to ask a question, I'll be around. You can ask. Okay. I think you should take a little break and then maybe come back and refresh on if those who could not join early, and see if you can refresh the whole thing. All right. So guys, let me give you some crypto song that you've never heard before. All right. Some of the fantastic, most informative or educative crypto song that you could ever imagine. All right. Then after, we will just get back to the session. All right, probably talk about something different or even the same topic.
Yo, check the charts. It's more than just a game. It's about the long run. Let's build. Started with a vision, a little bit of capital, not chasing every pump. That's sabbatical. Nah, I'm strategic. Reading the white papers, stacking the blue chips, avoiding the vapors. Solid foundation, spreading the allocation. This ain't a lottery, it's wealth creation. Building it strong, watch the portfolio climb. Manage the risk, play the game of time. Rebalance the stack, keep the vision in line. From the red to the green, we gon' shine. Fear and the greed, see the market psychology. I stay disciplined, follow my own policy. Take a little profit when the greed is high. Buy in the dip when you see him cry. It's a cycle, a rhythm, a digital art. Playing it smart, right from the start. Building it strong, watch the portfolio climb. Yeah, manage the risk, play the game of time. Rebalance the stack, keep the vision in line. From the red to the green, we gon' shine. Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Build strong, stay patient, win the right way. Diamond hands, legacy plans, that's the motto.
Hi guys, we are back. Okay, so now let me take some questions, right? If you're here, let's ask some questions. Let's take some questions right now. How long have you been in crypto? Let me give you a little bit of my crypto story, right? How I got into crypto. I mean, most of you know the story already, but so I don't think we should go back. But then, what have you learned so far from this session? Would you subscribe to APR or APY? Okay, let me know in the comments. Let me know from the comments. Would you subscribe to APR or APY if you were to do crypto? All right. What are you going to subscribe? But I think we have a good number of people, so we can have the session again. The difference between APR and APY. All right. So now let's start again. I want to welcome all of you to one of my sessions where I educate people to maximize or how to learn. Educate people on how to properly do crypto and maximize your profits in crypto. All right. So if you're here for the first time, I hope you enjoyed the session. We already have the first session. This is just the second session, and I believe you guys will learn something as we progress. Okay, so we are talking about APR versus APY. What is the main difference between these two models? All right. So when you go to a bank to invest or put your money at the bank, okay, what do you look out for? Do you look out for simple interest or compound interest? Some banks offer simple interest on your earnings, and some banks offer compound interest on your earnings. Okay, so these are the two major difference of type of model that you would want to subscribe to when you want to put your money to work at a bank or any investment platform. Okay, so compounding interest in crypto is called APY, and a simple interest in crypto is called APR. All right, so APR is simple interest and APY is a compounding interest. So now let's look at the difference between the two. All right. Okay, so now where APR appears, let's look at APR first. Okay, so now APR simply means annual percentage yields. Okay, APR simply means annual percentage rate. Okay, so it refers to simple interest, right? Let's say if you commit yourself or you commit your money to an investment, whether being bank, whether being whatever, all right, and they tell you that if you commit your money to us or you invest your money with us, you're going to get 10% simple interest rate. It means at the end of the year, at the end of the the annual period, okay, you're going to get 10% and nothing else. That is called the simple interest in the traditional financial spectrum or traditional financial world, but it's called APR when it comes to crypto. All right. So if you want to commit your crypto to any type of investment, if you want to commit your crypto, especially in the market like what we are facing right now in the bear market, we want to think of APR, okay, as a simple interest and APY as a compounding interest. All right, so let me show you something with APR. Okay, so the APR, you do not get any compounding effect. However, you can manually commit your money, your interest that you earn daily, weekly, or whatever, to have that kind of compounding effect fee. All right. For example, platforms like Binance, they have a system called the Simple Earn or the Earn, Binance Earn, right, where you can commit your crypto to either Simple Earn or on-chain use. Okay, They are purely APR, which means if Binance is promising you 2%, you're going to get 2% at the end of the year. All right. And I think they pay yearly. Okay, they pay yearly. So the yearly payments you can recommit to enjoy some kind of compounding effect. So APR is fixed. You don't get any compound effect. What they promise you is what you get. So if they promise you 10%, you're going to get 10%. If they promise you 1%, you're going to get 1%. If they promise you 20%, you're going to get 20%. Nothing more, nothing else. All right, nothing more, nothing else. So, for example, if you commit your money, all right, to any platform that is giving you APR, let's say $1,000. At the end of the year, if they are promising you 10%, you're going to get $1,100, right? $1,100. However, if the platform is giving you APY, okay, let's look at APY. APY is annual percentage yield. I told you APR is annual percentage rate, and APY is annual percentage yield. APR is simple interest, and APY is compounding interest. So you see, APR refers to compound interest. It includes the effect of reinvesting interest. So with the APY, you make more interest on your interest, okay, on your money. Okay, it's like your interest earns interest. All right. APY, what you put in there, they promise you APR. When they promise you 10%, you get 10%. But with the APY, the money that you get is also automatically reinvesting. The money that you get is automatically reinvested, therefore creating some kind of a compounding effect that makes your interest also working for you. So with the APR, your money or your interest doesn't work for you, but with the APY, your interest also works for you to make more money. All right, you see, it's simple. So you see from this document or from this data, if you put $1,000 in an APY for 10%, you're going to get $100 profit. If you put the same money in APY model, okay, you're going to get 1,105.16, which means your interest also started working, therefore ensuring you make more of it. All right. Now, let's look at APR in much more deeper sense. Okay, so APR is mostly associated with centralized exchange. All right. For example, on Binance, we have the Binance Earn. Go to Binance Earn. They have different products, different cryptos that you can commit to. Okay, they will give you a percentage or a specific amount of APR, which is fixed, simple interest. You're not going to get more unless you commit yourself in form of reinvesting as compounding. All right. So let's say if you go to Binance and you see BTC, BNB, USDC, whatever, and they promise you, let's say 10% APR, it means at the end of the year, if you commit your money, they're going to give you 10% on that. And it's really good way to do crypto, especially in a market like this where we don't know the direction. Instead of letting your money sit on spot, you can commit your money to APR so that your money will earn interest. Your crypto will earn more interest. Anyway, this is not financial advice, purely for education purpose only. All right. Okay, so you can find APR mostly on exchanges or centralized exchanges, lending platforms, fixed staking, and custodian products. Okay, so the reason why exchanges and these lending platforms and this staking and custodian product they offer this kind of service is because they want to kind of secure themselves. Pretty much they want to ensure predictability, right? Sometimes the market becomes unpredictable. So if they promise you APY, pretty much sometimes they can be at loss. I don't know, but then they want predictability. Therefore, if you say APR, it means what they promise you is what you get. If 1%, you get 1% on your principal. Okay, so most often than not, for some reason, for some interesting reason, you can definitely find it on on the centralized exchange. Okay, and now let's talk about APY. APY, as I said, is annual percentage yield. This includes compound effects. Okay, so APY kind of have this compound effect. All right. For example, if you put your $1,000 and you subscribe to APY model of investments, at the end of the year, you're going to get 10% plus compounded interest or compounded effective interest or effective interest. All right. So $1,000 at 10%, instead of earning just 1,100, you're going to get 1,105. Okay, 1,105. You see, it's not straight. Okay, APY is not APR is straight. You see, okay, the value is straight. Okay, let's say put in 1,000. The second year, the Q1, the quarter one, you get 1,025. Quarter two, you get 1,050. Quarter three, you get 1,075. And quarter four, that's just 1 year period, you get 1,100. All right. with the APY is quite different. All right, APY, you see, quarter one, you start with $1,000. Q1, you get 1,024 instead of 1,020. QR, you get 1,051. You get 1,078, and Q3 and Q4, you're sitting on 1,105. All right. So it's very, very important to understand these two models and why you would want to subscribe to any of them. All right. So you see the difference on the, visualize um, form between compounding, or sorry, between APR and APY. The APR is straight, don't make anything. The first year, let's say if you commit $10,000 for 5 years, all right, with APY, sorry, with APR, first year you make first year make about 11,000, all right. The same money committed to APY, the first year you make about $1,052. Second year you make about 12,000 with APR. The same money with APR, you get about 12,024 to $12,214, right? The third year with APR will give you 13,000, right, or 13,000, as we say it. The same amount of money in APY will get you 13,498, right? The same money in Q4, sorry, in the year four will give you 14,000 in APR. The same money with APY will give you 14,915. The same money at the end of the 5-year period will give you 15,000 APR, but with APY is going to give you $16,485, which is incredible, which is way, 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 way up. Okay, so now you see the main difference. Okay, some of the places that you can find APY is decentralized platforms. Okay, especially the Binance wallet, Trust wallet, and all these just decentralized platforms. For some reason, you can easily find an APY product there and subscribe to it. Okay, normally you can find them on yield farming, liquidity pools, auto compound vaults, and DeFi protocols. They most often do not offer APY. All right, we're talking about the fact that sometimes, even though APY can be higher, and that doesn't mean they translate to becoming a better investment, because they are other risk involved. Okay, normally some of the if you spot APY with higher percentage yield, let's say 50% or 100% or 120%, most often than not, they are associated with extremely volatile tokens. All right, extremely volatile. You wouldn't want to expose yourself to highly volatile tokens, because if your token, the value is down and you're getting higher APY, sometimes the APY that you're even making can't cover for the losses or make up for the losses. So, I mean, you really need to understand or have better understanding of that protocol, of that of that particular coin before you commit your hard-earned money to it. All right. Normally, when you see APY in USDT or stable coins, they are not that much. Normally 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5, maximum 10. You don't get high APYs, especially on the decentralized platforms or protocols. You don't get high APYs on stable or lower volatility or lower volatile cryptos. Okay. All right. So now let's do some real world comparison. Okay. So you see APR. All right. You're saving USDC savings lending platform, 8% APR. Ethereum USDC liquidity pool, you get 12% APY. All right. So basically, compare the two. One gives you better opportunity to earn more. All right. So the question is, which one would you prefer? Okay. I would rather prefer Plan B. I would rather prefer to use APY and subscribe to more stable projects or stable coins or stable, I mean, not so much volatile coins, so that I make most from it. All right. So now let's look at how to evaluate this yield. First of all, ask yourself, does it auto compound? Especially for the APR, that's auto compound. So you have to really, if you want to enjoy that compound effect, you have to learn how to auto commit yourself. All right. Sorry, you have to learn how to manually commit your interest. But for the APYs, as I said, they are automatic. But sometimes it's not really automatic. You need to understand that this platform auto compound for you. All right. If it doesn't, you make a decision whether you want to leave or stay. You also have to understand whether their product is fixed or variable. If it's fixed, it means you have to lock your money for a specific period of time. If you don't like it, you can look at a more variable system where you can pretty much, or flexible system where you can pretty much have access to your money. All right. We also have to understand the risk. I mean, you have to understand the risk associated with that particular platform that you want to use. Are they secure? How long have they been around? Will they rack pool? Will I feel safe if I have my money here? I mean, you have to understand yourself, pretty much do proper investigation or proper due diligence before you commit your money to these kind of platforms. Okay. For example, I mean, there are better platform out there that gives good use, and they are DeFi. Okay, you have to understand how long they've been in the system. They have enough liquidity to pay, and yada yada. Whether you can track everything on the blockchain and this and that. All right. So before you do that, you commit your money. You have to understand the platform. Also, you have to ask yourself how often do they pay? Okay, some pay daily, their interest daily. Some pays weekly. Some pays monthly. All right. And even though it's compound effects, they pay and they automatically recommit for you. So you have to understand how often they pay as well. You also have to understand the token that you are committing yourself to. If the token is volatile, I don't think it's really advisable, whether APR or APY. If it's not volatile, then I think it's really, really important. They are giving high APY. That's it's not so too good to be true. Then I think it's one of the best things to do. I mean, it's only wise and smart to subscribe for it. All right. You also have to understand their liquidity, whether their liquidity they are more liquid, whether their liquidity is locked up or they can be withdrawn at any time. You need to understand the model. I mean, that particular DeFi you are subscribing your money for or to. You have to understand whether the devs can drain the liquidity or they have their liquidity locked for a specific period of time. Okay. And also, if you commit your money to them, are they going to lock it for a period of time or you can withdraw at any given time? All right. You have to understand all of that. Okay. So um, let's look at real profits. I mean, as you see, real profit doesn't really mean you're going to real APY doesn't normally translate to higher profits. Okay, let me explain. Sometimes let's say you bought a meme coin, right? You bought a meme coin, let's say you bought $1,000 that but that meme coin value has depreciated to let's say $500. Even if they have higher yields, okay, or higher APY, sometimes the higher APYs wouldn't be able to cover the losses that we've made in terms of the value of that crypto. Okay, so high APY doesn't normally or doesn't necessarily translate to higher profits or higher gains on your crypto. That is why you have to know which crypto you want to commit yourself in terms of APY. I normally would do BNB, Asta, Solana, Ethereum, BTC, those higher, lower volatile coins. That's why that's some of the coins that I would rather would want to commit myself to, whether APR or APY. All right. I hope you get me. And another thing is that how do you call it? Yes, you can most often than not can find API on DEX, APR on DEX, or sorry, APR on centralized exchange or SEX. Okay, and you have to understand that with SEX you don't control your private key. It's custodian wallet, which means you only use your password and your email or whatever to log in. And when you miss that, you can just create reset password and get in. All right. You don't control the narrative, you don't control your money, you don't control your key. Okay. But with a centralized platform, it's self-custody, which means you control your private key. And most often than not, they offer the APY, bigger APY and rates. Okay. So with the self-custody, you control your private key and everything. But with the centralized exchange, it's custodian wallets, you don't control. Okay. The difference between this and the disadvantages and advantages between these two is that with the custodian or the centralized exchange, when you lose your private key, you can still recover your money. But with the decentralized exchange, when you lose your private key, you can't recover the money. Okay. However, with the centralized exchange, when something happens to the platform, it can affect you. Okay. But with the decentralized platform, if something happens to the platform, you still have the private key, you can log into other platforms and withdraw your money. That's the difference. Okay. That's the difference between using the Binance and the Binance wallet. Okay. So with a centralized system, there's also lower complexity. Complexity is very easy to use. You can just go to the centralized exchange and you can see all the products and the features really available. But with the decentralized wallet, sometimes if you don't put a little bit of work in knowledge, I mean, put a little bit of work to get the understanding, you might be a bit lost. Okay, it will take time for you to go if you're not like us. If not, you've done it over, I mean, over and over again, done it time and time again. So we are used to that. But with the centralized exchange, it's pretty much simple for anyone to get started. All right. So yes, that is it. That is it. That's very simple. That's the main difference between centralized exchange and decentralized exchange, and also APR and APY. Now the question to you is: would you rather subscribe to APY or APR? Let me know in the comment section. So this is what the session is about. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed the session and you learned so much. Probably we'll do another session of the same thing another day, maybe this evening or tomorrow. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you again, and I hope you have a great weekend.